Go on, Kev.
I know, I'm waiting. I'm just trying to see. I was just trying to make you talk first. No, lads, how's it going? Welcome to Anfield Road TV. Right, I am Kev Spider, as you know. I'm trying to make Jack talk because Jack has had a tooth removed today. He's not just, showing one of those Karen-type faces for no reason whatsoever. So he's... Don't laugh, Jack. I'd laugh if the white thing just came flying out of your mouth. But anyway, lads, we're here to talk today. Some breaking news throughout the day. The Arnie one, as I call him, David Ornstein, has exclusively reported that Liverpool are in negotiations with Bayern Munich for the permanent signing of Ryan Gravenberch. Not guaranteed to happen, but the club is discussing price plus, if finances right, formal offer to follow. 21-year-old wants Liverpool. Bayern Munich would need to replace him, by the way. But we all know that they're in the market for a midfielder the last couple of weeks anyway, so I think it's just a matter of funds going one way and the other way, really. So Bayern just want to... I think it's pretty much just an exchange of funds straight to whoever Bayern are buying off of.
Do you were linked with... Apologies if you can't understand me anyway. It's even more worse. Do you were linked with Paulinho today as well, chat? Pointless even speaking. But welcome, chat. Welcome, Jen. Welcome, Henry, as well. Panov.
You take it out for a while, I think. What is it? One of those plug things, is it?
No.
No, it's bad,
like
is it?
Something after Rocky Horror Show or something like.
Oh, Jesus.
But yeah, I'll be made up, Kev, if we can get him. 21 years old, experience, you know me, chat, as well. People that watch me. Yeah. This lad has certainly been on my radar, certainly a player that I've wanted Liverpool, even prior to his move to Bayern Munich. He's a player that is vastly experienced, serial winner in Ajax. Obviously, I think he won 3 Eredivisie titles, obviously helped Bayern win the Bundesliga last season, even though he didn't play a massive key role, Kev. But for me, when I look at this, it's one of those players that, as we've spoken in recent weeks, that will come in certainly, and he's very much adept playing in a 4-3-3. He predominantly, at the time at Ajax, was that right central midfielder. But certainly, when I look at Liverpool's team, Kev, is that right-hand side of that midfield is really where Liverpool, if Szoboszlai was to get injured this season, I think to drop off in relation to Harvey Elliott would be quite tricky for me.
Yeah. No, look, it's natural for him to come in on that right-hand side and whatnot, but look, he's capable of playing alongside Endo as well if we wanted to change shape and stuff like that, Let's say, because with the way Trent has been going on recently, still it wouldn't surprise me if we're still going in for a defender. If we get Gravenberch over the line, it just allows us to have multiple formations. If we're still going in for a defender, then more than anybody, I'd fear for Trent kind of losing out in role at game time. And even Robbo. Unless he moves Rob up the wing, which in the middle of a midfield, which I can't see that happening. There's various formations you can play with Gravenberch in the team. I'm trying to think off the top of my head if he goes for a 3-man at the back line and he does a 4 through the middle, or even a 3-3-1, that kind of way, from up there to the midfield. So it's a tricky one because I want to see where he comes into the side and actually plays regularly, which I don't think I can see it happening over Szoboszlai, to be honest with you. But I can see it happening alongside, maybe if Endo doesn't work out too much in games and we don't need him that much, then you could easily see him coming in for Endo and, playing just alongside a flat 3 centre midfield road, with maybe Szoboszlai playing a bit more extended forward. So, yeah, I think he's more of a cover for various different roles, but will play more than you think. Because I love him as a player. I don't know if you've seen I do.
I've seen.
I have. But I'm trying to see because he's not going to get his place over Szoboszlai if Szoboszlai keeps going the way he's going. It's that simple. So he's either going to play more central, but then you're taking away Trent's role of coming into the midfield where he's sitting, from where Gravenberch will play and run from deep. You know, yeah.
This to me suggests a potential formation back to the 4-3-3 chat as well. In terms of obviously the prestigious Ajax academy that he comes from, so adept, they could literally play the 4-3-3 in their sleep. The majority of those young Dutch lads, anyway. Let's get through a couple of your comments as well. Chat, make sure if you haven't already done so, smash that subscribe button, smash the like button as well. Me, Kev, and a load of other people on YouTube are going to be smashing the videos lately because me and Kev on this channel as well as Kev's, we'll be doing a transfer deadline day show. That'll probably be about 4 or 5 hour episode if we're both free anyway. I'm looking forward to that.
I'm gigging that night, but I'll be here for most of the afternoon. We can keep swapping in to know people. Yeah. We get people on, they can come along and do 2-hour sessions or something.
Oh yeah, big up there Tony, big up there Henry as well. Press, Gravenberch, Mac Jones, Elliot, Sabuzlight, Thiago, Bacetic and Endo as well. Big up there, Shirt. Totally got screwed by the clickbait. More transfers set to follow. My backside. We have got FSG, not Bowley. Well, Shah, it's not really FIFA in real life, mate. Not everyone's like Manchester City and obviously Todd Bowley, where it's in 3 windows. He spends in excess of 850 million. That has been unprecedented in European football. So I don't know if you've just started supporting a team or football, mate. That's yeah. Of course, we've got FSG, mate. I'm quite clearly you're new to the channel, mate. Go back on a couple of videos from last week. You know my thoughts. But what would be 300 million pound signings for you? Would that be adequate to satisfy your needs as a fan? I'm not one of these fans. Obviously, we all want transfers.
Oh, is he talking about the title of your video?
Yeah.
I agree with that. Oh, yeah, about man.
He's getting that triggered over the bloody description. Welcome, lads.
We're not making the news. We're just reporting it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Simple as.
We are desperate for a defender, of course. We are, mate, and we'll speak about another player going big up there, Susan, the absolute bloody legend as well. Klopp can really revive his career. You're Fudge. He's a serial winner, mate. He knows what is needed. Of course, every Liverpool fan agrees we need to spend money. It helps massively the owners, but as I said, I've got plenty of group chats that I'm in, and everyone's been bloody losing their mind far too much in the last couple of days anyway. Because as this evening showed, Kev, news can just come out of absolutely bloody nowhere. Obviously, in the last couple of days, there was reports that Liverpool had Gravenberch for the last couple of years, even before, as I said, reported on this, Kev. He was pictured in a Liverpool shirt a very long time ago when Liverpool played Ajax. I think it was Virgil van Dijk or Gini give him a Liverpool kit. So, yeah, it's news can spring out of nowhere, and I've still got hope in Jurgen Klopp and the people running this football club that you will get it right. Because as we all know, Kev, if you don't get Gravenberch over the line, there's be, as we all know, massive question marks in the whole infrastructure of the football club.
Yeah, look, as well as this, you see, because as you're chatting away there, and whatnot, I'm still putting situational things in my head about Gravenberch and where he's going to play and what he's going to do. Obviously, some of the people said it was 3-4-3. I mean, that's what I was alluding to with the 3-3-1. 3 there. But it's if this is also an out to not rely on Salah as much, because if Gravenberch drops into that where Szoboszlai is, Szoboszlai can also drop into where Salah plays easily. He's very comfortable up there in that right attacking midfield role, right wing role. So he won't go out as wide, but he'll still tuck inside, which will still open up for Trent. But it's covering various different angles here. And if anything goes by the way Klopp's, like a lot of people have been doubting Klopp's tactics and stuff like that, and he's said it himself. He's had to go off the drawing board again and learn different tactics and do this kind of thing. And the game against Newcastle just showed exactly why he was spot on in what he's saying throughout the summer. That he's employing new tactics, he's employing new scenario. If the unfathomable happens, then he's hoping to be covered for it. And I think all of these players coming in is just a means for that. I mean, everybody assumes that with players that we're bringing in now that they're going to be immediate starters if they're going to be somewhat of a name, a household name. But City are a team that, just to kind of go back to them as a point, City are a team that buy household names from clubs, your Mahrez's, your stuff like that, and they don't see game time. Your Jack Grealish's, they don't see game time from one end of the week to the next. They might start 2 or 3 games in a row throughout the season, and then they won't start again for another 10 games. It's just the way, it's just the way football is. And if Liverpool are going to try the same mold about that, I tell you, the gobstopper in his mouth.
Yeah, Kev, you're going to have to explain to everyone that's just tuned in now what the situation is.
Oh yeah, no,
I know I sound scouse usually, but yeah, I got a tooth yanked out me. Yeah, so the show must go on, as they say. So yeah, I had a tooth yanked out.
It's a type of gobstopper, but it's still not keeping them quiet. But anyway. Look, Gravenberch is there to allow us to change formations when necessary. He's there to come in and start, to give Szoboszlai a rest in a couple of lower level games. He's also there to contend on that right hand side, because when you look, we're slightly overloaded on that left hand side. I said that last season when the season was ending. You've got Thiago, Gakpo can play there, McAllister can play there on the left hand side. You've got Diaz further forward, which also Gakpo can play, Jota can play, and also Nunez can play there. We don't really have anybody that's overly on the other side except for Elliott and Szoboszlai, really, when you think of it. So we're going to need that third element in there, and somebody who gives us a different outcome than what Elliott can. Elliott's been fantastic since he came on, and I think that's going to suit him going forward with Liverpool. And as a Liverpool fan, I don't think he'll be bothered, until he gets a bit more muscle and gets a bit more, because he's still a growing lad, we keep forgetting, what is he, 18, 19?
No, 19? 21.
Elliott.
Oh, Elliott, yeah. 18,
yeah, no.
19, still.
Yeah, he's only like 18 or something, because then he started with us 16, turning 17, wasn't he? So he's still a kid, and he still has a job to do. But in growing and getting bigger and, making himself more of a presence on the pitch. But other than that, I mean, he's been doing really well for somebody of his age, and stature as well, within the squad, size-wise and within the squad. So look, it just gives us more of an outlet on that right-hand side, because we're a bit weak on that side, and we're a bit top-heavy on the left-hand side, if I'm honest. So
I'm really excited with the signing, Kev. If we can get it over the line, chat, as you can see,
Klopp might even have him as a number 6 as well.
He's for anyone that's not seen him, he's extremely versatile on his left, on his right. He's yet again another big physical presence. I think he's like 6'3", 6'4", in around that height as well. That experience on a European level, domestic level as well, in the Dutch league, and of course in Bayern Munich. Everyone goes, "Oh, he don't bother Bayern." At Bayern, he's had Joshua Kimmich and Leon Goretzka, 2 of the most experienced European footballers of the last 5-10 year period. I think the chopping and changing of managers at Bayern really didn't help. But I think with the clear instructions, and for anyone just jumping in this evening as well, chat, as David Ornstein does state at this moment in time, it's not guaranteed to happen. But if it was, both clubs are discussing a price if financial formal offer will follow.
It's got to happen, Jack. I mean, you're talking about 2 really well-established clubs that know how to do business. Bayern don't want to fleece Liverpool. They want to just get at least half the money towards their next buy. And, the dealings have always been good between Liverpool and Bayern, really,
And it's given that we wanted him as well before he went to Bayern Munich. Yeah. I think by all reports this evening as well, Kevin Chat, his camp are extremely impressed yet again by Liverpool's eagerness for that. We've not been turning up our nose at him because he turned us down. No, Liverpool like sound. Ryan's made his decision a couple of years ago to join Bayern. Hasn't quite worked, but if he was come to Liverpool, mate, I'm excited. I think if we can get him back to the form in which he showed, that got him in the move to Bayern Munich in the first place. We have got an extremely, extremely talented midfielder, and dare I say it, if we can get him for anywhere under the price bracket of £30 million, even alone with an obligation or potential buy offer, So we get 12 months in the Premier League or a 6-month period to test him out, get him back to full fitness, and if he takes to the Prem like a duck to water, Kev, then I'll tell you, this could be certainly a deal that Liverpool fans, all of us, could be speaking in the next 5-10 year period to be one of the signings of the Jurgen Klopp era for me.
Still a kid, man. He's still a kid, and absolutely, Klopp can mold him into a proper number 6 or a box-to-box midfielder type number 6. So he's got the body size for it, he's got the stature for it, he's got the skills for it. So why not? That's what I would rather see him being employed, especially if we've got McAllister and Szoboszlai now just either side of him there. Like we were talking about before the summer. Everybody was giving out last season, Jesus, we need a whole new midfield, we need this, we need that, and we literally decimated the entire midfield. We elevated, by Chetic, Jones, and whatnot up above now in ranks, which could have been over Fabinho and your Hendersons and stuff like that. Because Jones was starting over him, So we've already got the ground level of the cover in the midfield done, and then we bring in Szoboszlai and McAllister. On top of that, we drop out Ox and Abikeda, and we're bringing through the young lads again. I want to see. I don't care. I'm not worried about multiple big signings and let's go out and do the wow factor and all this kind of stuff. And so I think Bayern will just want to get their money back that they paid from for.
So only 25 mil. Yeah, 25 mil.
Yeah. Plus more. Liverpool will probably spend, because Bayern probably also have a bad feeling about what the price of Mane when he went to him that time. So you might see that Liverpool might recoup about 78 million of that to give Bayern a kind of, let's balance it out a small bit. So it could be 35 million, I'd say you're looking at in that way.
If you want to read out Donny's...
Yeah. Donny LFC, £2. Thank you very much for that. With this signing, I see a 4-2-3-1 system. That's one of my favourite systems to play. As long as that 4-2-3-1 can become a 5-4-1 on defence, I don't care. 4-5-1. Jesus, when we said, or even a 5-4-1. If one more of them drops back, if Gravenberch gets back in the middle of the two lads, I don't care. Or Endo, which is probably ideal when you think of the way when you're buying the way he bought Endo, because he is more of like a sweeper midfielder rather than a sitting number 6.
Endo can play centre half as well.
He can play centre half, so he likes to sweep behind the centre halves and clean up behind them and clear in front of them. So yeah, it makes sense as well that way, that he could drop back in and the lads in front of him can all turn into a 4 in front. So you could have a 5-4-1 on defence hitting to 4-5-1 on defence hitting to into a 4-2-3-1, or even a 4-1-4, even a 4-1-3-2. One attack, something like that,
So getting confused here by the sounds of it.
No, I'm not getting confused. I'm watching it moving in my head as it's happening, So at least I'm not like Ted Bowley and saying we're going to play a 4-4-3 system, So which is Todd Bowley, whatever the hell his name is. But anyway, so Gravenberch has big upside and Klopp makes better players. Yes, but that's already at a peak young potential is where he's at. So he can just take that from young potential to world class in a few steps. That's what Klopp can do,
Yeah, Lavagna.
Do you remember that reject Salah we bought that nobody wanted and said he would be an absolute flop coming back to the Premier League? Remember that guy?
Was it 5-season wonder now? Yeah, but it not too bad. But big up there, Lavagna. He's saying that he wants to see Elliott playing the 10 potentially. That's his best position there, Lavagna. We all know that. It's just that Liverpool, as we've seen in recent seasons, haven't got the squad depth. But times are changing, my friends, as a certain musician.
I would like to see that as well, but I was saying it recently how I believe how more effective Salah is a bit more central in the team. And if we were going to a 4-2-3-1 and Nunez is going to be sitting up there creating chaos in his own, I'd actually like to see Szoboszlai on the right hand side of Salah playing almost like a false 10. And on the other side you're probably going to have Diaz or Gakpo causing nuisance of themselves over there behind them, Gravenberch and Endo sitting there. McAllister and Endo, or McAllister and Gravenberch, or somebody like that sitting there. Because if Gravenberch comes in, Klopp is going to mold him into a number 6, and Endo is your cover.
He's spot on that. And big up the 12th man, big up Anfield Road TV and Kev, Jack and Kev, and my Reds in chat. Big up there, mate. Mods, can you please drop the 12th Man's channel link in the description, please, mate? Get you on this season, matey. Hope you're keeping well and keep on doing the great content that you do and that. But Mel Reddy, Andrew saying, has confirmed buying to recoup 20+ million plus add-ons they spent on him for Ajax, and also put
there you go.
On
yeah.
Well.
That's the same, yeah.
Fingers crossed. Nice one for that, Andrew.
35 million, I'd say the deal could be. You know, they were talking about maybe 25 million. 35, Liverpool will pay the extra 10 to recoup. So that Bayern feel better about, you know, the deal with Sadio Mane and the way that went, you know. And although, you know, Liverpool did sell him a really good player, it's just not up to them. They kept Sadio in check for years, but we all know he had a slight temper, you know, when he wanted to get going.
Yeah, definitely. If you want to answer this question, Kevin?
Yeah. Liverpool 12th man. Gravenberch is a good name and player, but he's not a DM or centre back. So if this is our last signing, does that change it for our fan base from failure to successful window after your TV? You know, the difference is he can play a DM if he needs to. You know, I think Klopp wants to mold him on that side or sit alongside of somebody that can, which means that he's not seen enough from Trent in there yet to do that role. And if that's the case, you know, he could sit there alongside of Endo or just ahead of him. And then you're probably going to see Szoboszlai start to have more of a free role, drifting into that kind of number 10 role with Salah and the lads out wide. So you're going to see, hi, me. And yeah, and no, I think that, but there's with this, just because of his stature, the way he plays, he can tackle, he can play more of a box-to-box midfielder as well. Although he likes to get forward, that's just the youth in any player. You know, coaches see players in certain ways. It doesn't matter if they like to play a certain way forward. If they say, "No, I see your strengths as being this," they'll play him like that.
Yeah. To that point as well, like there's statistics in the last 365 days. Ryan Gravenberch compared to the other top 5 Bundesliga. So hopefully that. Of course, as well, man, I know I've seen a couple of your videos as well, mate. So every Liverpool fan, and I say every Liverpool fan because I think even the staunch FSG inners over the last 6 months are very much that the scale has tipped in the direction of disappointment. And I think anyone defending FSG's at this moment in time is absolutely deluded in relation to the correlation, in relation to the lack of spend, because the failure to back for me, Kev, when I speak about it, is the failure to back Jurgen Klopp over the last 4, 5, 6 windows. Because you wonder and you look at what City have done, tremendous. We've come extremely close, but there's going to come a scenario where Jurgen Klopp does eventually leave this football club. And I think that the owners are in for a massive shock, because we are very fortunate that we got Jurgen at the helm. Of course, he takes criticism, but if you give Jurgen an extra 3-4 players in terms of this 5-year period that he's just come off the back of, I think Liverpool certainly come away with a lot more trophies, to say the least.
Yeah, look, I'd say it simply, if Jurgen Klopp leaves before SFFS, I can't even say their name, FSG, they'll be leaving immediately afterwards. I don't mean that because of being pushed out or any of that. They're going to see that they've taken Jurgen Klopp for granted with how they've acted. They've used his skill set, which is what his job is to do, and to be a manager and to take regular players and turn them into world-class players. He's done that time and time again in Liverpool, you know. He really has. So, like, you know me, I'm not in the fence. I'm on the fence where if Liverpool didn't do, or FSG didn't back, like, this is the most, because I've looked every season and I've still, you see, because a lot of people just kind of want signings for the sake of signings every year, just for it to happen. And then it went on and yeah, you could point out, you know, the season after we won the league that only, what's his name, Van Verenberg or something came in, or was it the Champions League or something like that, and then, you know, we didn't do too well in the league. And that should have been the first warning for him. And he said always about 3 strikes. And, you know, the first strike for me was the ticket hike and all that, and trying to just catch everybody for way too much money. That was first strike for me. Second strike was not backing him in the year after we won the league and not doing it the right way then. The third strike for me would be this window.
Yeah, and even you look at Kabak and Ben Davies scenario as well.
That was it.
That was ridiculous as well.
Gravenberch, those were over those 2 years, and that's the thing. They're not. There's only so much investment you can bring into a club when they're successful. If Liverpool dip in any way, shape, or form, they're not going to have the same sponsorship coming in from, which means the money won't be there, which means there won't be money to spend and nothing to appeal to. And you don't want that. You want the availability of having that coming in and being able to spend it at the same time. Now, I'm not of the ilk where I'm deluded enough to think that, I just want to see signings and that's it. They have loads of money, they should do it. But I'm also looking at the fact that I understand that there's a part of a stadium rebuild that's after happening. I understand that the money from goes into the club has to fund that too, and they don't pay for that out of their own pocket.
That's a whole other show for another night as well, by the way.
It is. So I know that's part and parcel of why there's not too many big signings over those two things. But fans don't kind of care about that because you think of me, like I'm just in my early 40s now, I don't want to be sitting there saying, all right, so the two stands are built over the last 6 to 8 years and all of that, but we've won a couple of trophies and blah, blah, blah. But then I have to wait before we get a bit of success again because we're not able to be backed because the money's not there until it generates up again. And then you're thinking, right, my whole 40s are gone without competing and just being in misery again. And, by the time you get into in your 50s and at that stage, you're kind of like, I love football and all this and that, but when you do all the big traveling and stuff, you hit in your 60s, it's important to fans in different ways, If you're a young fella, you can do anything. But it works that way out for me. But Gravenberch would be a great top off on the signings that we've already had. And I'd still like to see us do something and it's not me being greedy, it's just me being sensible that if Gomez were to leave or something was to happen we're going to need another centre back in there. Not elevating Kwanzaa up into a position to cover two injured centre backs that are there all the time.
We as a football club, we as a fan base as well, speak as a whole collective. Well, Liverpool Football Club, mate. Me and you've done plenty of shows over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Anyone that's just discovered the channel. Well, Liverpool Football Club, the money's been there for even before FSG come in. Don't get me wrong, they brought up the off the field stuff higher, one of the best run clubs off the field in terms of commercially and all that malarkey and everything as well. But with Liverpool, we've always been Liverpool. FSG was here. The football club was here before FSG, as we all know, and it will be after FSG as well in the future if they do depart, hopefully, from my point of view as well. I think you've done tremendous. We all can agree, as Kev just pointed out, the good points that you've done, but certainly massively out of touch with the ever-growing magnitude of the Premier League as a whole. Their model might have worked 10 years ago, but this structure now where you're seeing owners coming in and the billionaires and trillionaires anyway. But in terms of tremendous, big up there, you never walk alone. Yes, they have cheated, but in terms of when I was speaking about City, you've still got to win trophies. You've got to be consistent. Because look at Liverpool and the 30-year absence of not winning a league title. We spent close to $1 billion at that period under Rafa, under Rodgers, and where did that put us? It put us absolutely nowhere. It put us runners up a couple of times. Money doesn't always guarantee success, but when we've got a manager like Jurgen Klopp and the previous record in terms of signing, Kev, that's one thing that does our head in, is when you've got a proven track record under Jurgen Klopp with Edwards and Ward. We know they've left, but we could have got another Jota and another Genie as well through the door at that same period. So strike when the iron is hot. That's when.
No, like this time it's needed this window because it's such. It was just obvious of the drop off of Fabinho and Henderson last season, how bad they were. Ox and Naby were never ever fit. We'd always sit there kind of think, could they get a run together? Because it's optimistic thinking because you support a football club. If you're outside that football club, you're thinking, that dude is just always injured, and that's what pops into my head, A lot of people turn around and will say about Wilson or Calvert-Lewin, like if you're an Everton fan, he's brilliant, like if he gets to run the games together and all this. But for me, and I'm looking from the outside in, I'm looking at Calvert-Lewin, I'm just saying, is that dude ever off the hospital bed? And it's the same way, we eventually saw it in Sturridge, we eventually saw it in Atlanta, we eventually saw, we all see it, but we all hope that they can get back to their best because of that one good season that Ox had, and with the promise of Naby Keita and all that. But all these guys are gone now. All the dead weight has been shifted. As talented as they could be on their day when they wanted, when they were fit and got a few games under their belt, we now have fit, eager players that don't pick up injuries and don't, and aren't a sick note the majority of the time. So, yeah.
I'd agree there. A question to ask Kev or chat, you should probably know. Gravenberch, with his age, where does he occupy the space in the squad? Would he be classed as, no, not homegrown, but I think as was it Lavagna saying, would he pick up the place of obviously a foreign player coming into the squad? I'm guessing so because he's Dutch, isn't he? So, but I'm not 100%. So apologies, Chas. He's a lot more well versed in terms of all the rules. You know, especially big up there, Russell. Russell, no. So would he occupy one of the foreign places? I'm guessing he would in coming into the squad as well. Though,
at the moment, he was sitting as a foreign. Yes.
Yeah.
So he's still counted as a youth international.
Yeah, occupied. Big up there, Chas. Bayern pushing for Pat to sign Paulinho, according to Florian Plattenberg. That's what I did say before, chat. Before he had to put my teeth back in. So that would be a massive indicating factor of why Bayern's willingness, by all accounts, to getting 25-30 million from Liverpool to obviously put towards obviously the Portuguese central defensive midfielder. That'd be a great sign, I tell you. I'd put a couple of quid on Bayern potentially winning the Champions League this year. If they get Paulinho, they've already got Harry Kane. They've already got such a talented squad already. Yeah, big up there, Barry. Massive thank you, mate. Under 21s as well. So
I think it says he comes as youth player. He won't take up a foreign spot, will he?
Nice one, thought he was. Yeah, 28 is a.
He's called it €35 million. Yeah, I said it as well. If they make the same money back, £28 million, about 35 million. Yeah, 34 million.
Yeah. So we'll have a little look at the data, chat. As I said, if you're not a big fan of Eredivisie or whatnot, this is obviously not as time in Eredivisie. I'll do I've already planned a show with Kevin the lads, a lot more in-depth analysis where you look at all the data. But we'll look at this, Kev. Obviously, in terms of you're not well adversed with FBref. For me, when you look at the profile, this is what you're looking at on the right-hand side. It was Ryan Gravenberch in the last 335 days. Shot creating actions, obviously that's whether a player is fouled or a player contributes in terms of an attack or like a shot leading action, really. So he's in the top 4 percentile of that. Very balanced to me there, Kev. In terms of his frame, he's in the 18th percentile for tackles in European football. Clearances, very adept at chipping in, very similar to a player that we just bought in terms of Ryan. Dominic Szoboszlai coming from the Bundesliga. He was quite high up in European football in terms of clearances, aerial duels as well, given his height. Successful take-ons, Kev. It's a massive ploy and progressive passes and carries, really. He's a player who's big, but he's very technically gifted, a player that will break the lines, break into that penalty area, really, and carry that ball that 15, 20, 25 yards. Something that we'd wanted Naby to do, but as you
that's exactly what
Naby really wasn't fully fit.
That's who I was going to say. I said because Naby Liverpool have always been crying out for a fella who can win the ball deep and then run with it, while also open up the lads in front of him without having to pass it from deep and get it going. It's great having a guy that can sit down and hit a long ball long and then take chances going. But sometimes when there's a defensive team in front of you, you have to have a guy that can carry the ball past the one or two guys that are sitting in front of those defensive people and then try and cut open angles in front of you. And I mean, this is a guy that can do that. So it could be very much that Klopp is buying him as a deep lying midfielder. And then you mightn't see him when he's playing, you mightn't see Liverpool play with an out-and-out CDM. To be honest with you, I mean, we took Endo off the last time. We had no CDM against Newcastle and did perfectly fine with the 4 along the middle, So you might just be sitting there with two central midfielders all the time in the middle of the park and work his way off of that. So, or it could be just three sitting line central midfielders who could sit there. If Endo's not available, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch could do it. You're looking at these 3 guys being able to cut off angles fairly easily. So, yeah, I don't know. But also, by the way, lads, there's 80 odd of you inside there at the moment. Could you please just hit that thumb? You're looking at it right there on your phone or your hands just go bang. If you hit it, we get seen a bit more. So,
takes 2 seconds.
Appreciate it.
Massive thank you. As Russell said there, Reds, as we do, we play better with 10 men than 11. Certainly do, mate. Could be a new Jurgen Klopp tactic there.
And we couldn't beat 10 men then last season with 11. At all. In all the games, they went down to 10 men.
Interesting enough, Kevin, a player that just flew into my head. Very similar.
Eric Cantona.
Sod him. I'll 2-foot him. I'll 2-foot him with no teeth in. That's what I'll do. I've got no teeth, just. Trent does need a defensive coach to agree with that, mate. But in terms of the profile of Ryan Gravenberch, a player that we were linked earlier on this summer was, for me, Fulham, obviously the Nice midfielder. So if that was the case, around a couple of weeks ago, it was reported that we were having a look at Fulham of Nice. But it was interesting that this profile, like the height of Gravenberch, the technical ability of Gravenberch, Jurgen Klopp, it's quite evident at his time at Liverpool, he's had this fascination of trying to get big players. He's got Dominic Szoboszlai, I think he's about 6'2". But the fascination...
You don't win trophies with midgets, Jack.
Oh, yeah. Depends. Unless you are Barcelona and you've got Leo Messi. That's the only way.
I suppose.
Busquets was the only tall player in that team anyway. Along with, I was saying that Valdez was quite small for the goalkeeper as well, yes. 5'11", 6 foot. But in terms of Marco Grujic as well, Kev.
Yeah.
The one thing that I would have been interested to have seen if Marco Grujic actually worked at Liverpool was the profile of that type of midfielder. I don't think Jurgen Klopp has had that since he's come into Liverpool, apart from Dominic Szoboszlai coming into the club now.
Fabinho a bit, but he was a bit skinnier.
Yeah.
But he was
but in terms of
do the job.
Yeah, in terms of ball carrying though, I think Ryan Gravenberch is the potential Marco Grujic signing that he wanted all those years ago. A player that will break the lines, goal scoring as well. But yeah, it's certainly...
he wants a team full of De Bruyne's and Vieiras, doesn't he? When you look at it.
Well, that's one of the biggest aspects as well, though, Kev and Chat. Liverpool, under Jurgen Klopp, we've all been... That midfield has more or less been all about press, resistance, but a lot less technical. Because how many times do we look at Man City and they've got so many technical players? And shout out to Chelsea buying yet again another City player for Cole Palmer, 45 million, ridiculous.
Did they buy him?
Yeah, they're literally about to sign him as well. If you missed that,
what?
I know. I
missed it all.
Yeah, so he's going to City. I think City will be happy. Well, don't think they will, because. But yeah, in terms of going back to my point, I'm excited, mate. This is a player that he ticks all the boxes for me, mate, especially under Jurgen Klopp style player, and one that could be the turning tide. But as Chat already alluded to tonight, we needed centre back if possible. Tie it in really to this man potentially leaving the football club. Today, reports were stating that potential
Ballon d'Or winning.
A potential move away to Celtic. If we were to sell Nat Phillips, certainly Liverpool will be moving in the transfer market for another centre-half. I'll speak about this in relation to another player that did leave Liverpool yesterday. Billy Cometio has completed a season-long loan move to League Two side USL Dunkirk. Dunkirk.
It's the French version of Dunkirk.
Yeah, subject to international clearance. Good luck, Billy, as well. So, Kev, if Nat is to go as well, chat, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Liverpool might potentially move in for another centre half?
I think they need to. I think they know if we don't know what happened with Matip the other day. Was he taken off for Kwanzaa because he got a knock?
Precautionary, Klopp said.
Precautionary. You know, and then you got already got Van Dijk who could be missing a few games now if that disciplinary thing gets seen too, you know, and then
tooth out, Darryl.
Yeah, you got a tooth removed. And you have Matip who's constantly on precautionary situation. You have Konate who could play for 6 games and be out for the next 5 games. Same again. I think so. I think we could be in for somebody.
Definitely.
Yeah. Did you hear my baby there in the background? Could you?
Yeah. It sounded like it sounded like Twitter just crying their eyes out for the last 4 months.
Yeah. I could hear her shouting there. Yeah. I could hear her shouting there.
I've had to put my teeth back in, boys. No, but it's spot on there. I don't see Gravenberch as a 6 at all. I think he's being bought to push Mac 10 and Szoboszlai all the way to place the team as well. But we'll quickly rattle through. Kev, if you need to shoot, mate.
I don't. I'm perfectly fine. I was just telling the wife to close the door because the kids are just running back and forth, playing with each other, screaming their heads off.
So, chat, we'll recap on, obviously, for people just tuning in a little second. But this loads of my backside, to put it kindly, because we're not past the watershed. Regardless of regulation and discipline update, Kev, do you want to read this absolute utter bull that it is?
Regulation and discipline update. Blah 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 blah. Virgil van Dijk has been Virgil van Dijk.
Load of blah 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 blah.
It is has been charged with a breach of the FA rule E3.1 following Liverpool's Premier League game against Newcastle United on Sunday, 27th of August. It's alleged the defender acted in an improper manner and or used abusive or insulting words towards a match official after being sent off in the 29th minute. Virgil van Dijk has until Friday the 1st of September to provide a response to this charge. Tell him he can do one. That's what I would say. Bite me would be the 2-word response that I would say.
I don't know if you've seen the video, Kev, or chap, where Virgil van Dijk basically told the referee to F off. He was like, how dare you touch me? It's like me trying to manhandle Peter Crouch. It's not going to happen. It's like Virgil smells lovely. He looks lovely. And you wouldn't scrap with... We all know that rule, chat. Never pick on someone your own size, really. Don't pick on like some absolute giant James with the giant peach fella. Like, ridiculous. Kev, we know the people to scrap with. Or you get your mate to
I scrap at anybody, me. What are you talking about? I scrap at anybody. I climb up their knees and kill them if I had to.
Yeah, and then you put your hand on your forehead and you're like, was it Scrappy Doo? Like trying to get the bloody But yeah, ridiculous. Just absolutely ridiculous. I wish, it's looking like a potential could get a 2-game ban, chat. But yeah, loads of absolute nonsense. This come out yesterday, chat. Obviously, we didn't do a show. But yeah, ridiculous. See what happens when a lino.
What's the point in having these hearings if they're just always going to side with the referee's point of view and his word anyway? Like, are they allowed to use the recordings that the referees have to listen back to what's been said? Are they?
Well, probably, but it'd probably go to
so why can't the rest of the world see that? Why is only one set of bodies are allowed to hear it, but nobody else in the rest of the world are allowed to see that? Makes no sense.
Because it's corruption, Kev. And chat, like, it's like anywhere in the world, if you were savvy or you were allowed to listen to discussions that go behind closed doors, and bloody hell, imagine if you literally listen to the discussions or the shocking discussions that the referee panelists do. They're absolutely flawed. Like, you can tell the difference between who the woke panelists are and who the normal everyday old school football supporters are, because the woke ones believe it's a red card. And then the normal ones realize he's just coming through a player before he passes him. So he's not at the last man. So, I mean, I'm old school when it comes to that. It doesn't matter if the ball could get past him or whatever. How does anybody know that if Van Dijk knew that rule was a thing where he couldn't actually just clear at the same level as the player, that it was going to be true on goal? Because, I mean, he's still looking behind waiting for the ball to come. But that doesn't mean that he's going to be past Van Dijk. How does he know that Alisson is not going to make a run out? How does he know that? You can't assume to say, well, we know where the ball is going to go, but that doesn't mean it's a goal scoring opportunity. Because, I mean, Alisson could, by the time he receives that ball and it actually gets to him, if he leaves it run into the box, right, and he does take a touch, Alisson could be out on top of him straight away. There's so many scenarios that can happen there. He's not running through on goal and tackle from behind. It wasn't a red card in the first place for me. It's a yellow, and it's a proper yellow because he kicked him in the back of the ankle, or in the side of the ankle, I should say, going through him. But it was a clip. It wasn't actually a clip. It's a toe to the heel thing as he's passing to clear the ball. How many times when you're tackling down through the ears, do you slide in on a fella and he ends up like spurling through the air and lands on his arse in the middle of the field? Does that mean it has to be a free kick because you hurt his feelings? It's just come on, man. It's getting a bit too woke. It's not a red card at all. It's the one thing that the referees have actually done well, Kevin, chat, in the new rule changes is that it sounds us fans. I do it when I'm at the game. I'm like, come on, ref. I think we all do it naturally. But when a player does it, whether it's Liverpool or opposition player, it blood boils. It boils all of our blood anyway, to say the least.
But even the thing about that, if other players are after swearing at the official that day, does that all get brought up in the recordings as well? Or are they lying about the fact of saying that the only reason that they're going to sanction him is, what's that say, 20 or Joe Linton this morning? Yeah, exactly. So if does that mean that like the reason why he's not leaving the pitch or something, so you took too long to leave the pitch is the right reason why we're thinking it's disciplinary? But he could be waiting for VAR's answer, to leave the pitch. Yeah, that was the whole is he supposed to leave and then come back on, leave and come back on all the time for that? It's just too many. Look, the PGMOL have too much hands involved in the whole running of the actual game. They're there to referee, they're not there to run the game. And that's the whole point, and they need to be told this, and they need to be kept out of it. The FA have to make the rules. The PGMOL have to follow what the rules are. They're brought in to stay fit, to understand the rulings and make the judgment calls. They're not there to control the football. They're there just to referee it. That's as simple as that. And they're not getting that into their heads lately, whatever's going on. So they need to be told.
Yeah, so that's Jeremy. Spot on there, Kev. We'll do a show on that probably a lot of times this season. Chat. Oh, geez.
Ref watch.
Yeah. I think, we'll have to get Luke on that. Luke would be the experienced one. But the refs open, there's loads of them, especially when they elbow one of our players. Christ, nothing gets done. But that's just our club bias, isn't it? Well,
but how can anybody, when that situation happened, how can anybody take him serious again? That time that Harry Kane was awarded that penalty, was it? When we were after going 2-1 up with that brilliant solo goal at the end of the game. And Lovren hadn't touched what you call it, he'd passed the ball back or something. That was the situation. And if it was deemed to be that way, it wasn't. And then when the penalty was given, the linesman starts fisting the air. Do you remember that? I told you that, and I showed you the thing, and nobody kind of believed me when they said it, because I actually had to show it to people on the show back a few weeks ago to say that the linesman actually was going along going, yes, as if to say he was cheering the fact that the penalty was given against Liverpool. It's just it's nuts, man. So yeah, there's these scenarios that are involved in it, and weekly more and more and more with Mike Dean and all of that, and with that.
Those Mike Dean comments were extremely.
They're showing that the corruption is there. They're buddy instead of doing the job. So yeah.
But yeah, what do you plan to your shows of this chat? Howard Webb is back. Yeah, balls throws that he is. Let's get Ryan Babel to do another tweet. So moving on from that fiasco yesterday, we had another scenario. If you've not got social media, chat, I know a lot of you aren't on Twitter, and it's for the best. Mo went on a tourist day out in London, to the museum, the big one in London, and everyone was going, "Oh my God, he's going to Saudi Arabia. He's doing a medical in London and all that."
No, they did an Egyptian show, didn't they?
Yeah, they're showing in the Egyptian. So the club allowed Mo to have a day off. And Kev, did you notice that everyone was panicking this morning because Mo wasn't on the social?
Because I don't spend my time on Twitter.
Are you sure about it? You're on social media now, look.
I am, but I don't spend it on Twitter, so listen to the panic.
Everyone was crying this morning for Liverpool's official social media accounts to tweet a picture of Mo in training. Similar a couple of months back when Alisson, it was, Alisson's injured because he's not in the pictures. And it's like, he probably has media duties where he has to do interviews for BBC, BBC radios, all the usual media duties. But Mo, chat, calm down. If a 200 million bid comes in tomorrow, then fair play. But at this moment in time, there's been no official bid for Mohamed Salah. And as we know, me and Kev done a show, we've all spoke as fans. Liverpool would be absolutely stupid to let go of Mohamed Salah. He'll leave next season. That's probably what we're all agreeing on. He will leave next season, probably for about £100 million.
I still think he wants to go in the Champions League. If he stays at Liverpool, he wants to stay for the Champions League.
Yeah.
To have another go at the Champions League. Either that or he's not going to Saudi Arabia and missing out on the last chance to play the Champions League when he's at the peak of his career. No chances he doing that. He might as well just go now. That's the whole point. So if he's staying now for Europa League football and Liverpool to go for the league or whatever, he's staying so that he can see if he can still do the Champions League again the following season with a top quality squad in place. So I would I wouldn't see him leaving next. If he doesn't leave in this window now, can't see him leaving in January because it'll be too much money for anybody to spend. Then Liverpool will offer him an extra contract. Add an extra 2 years to it, and then said in 2 years' time, somebody can come in and put, after 2 years, we'll put 150 million price tag on you, and anybody can take you in Saudi Arabia if they want to. So that's what I would do if I was Liverpool Football Club anyway.
Yeah, it was it, Tony. Yeah, it was a British Museum. Damn it. Once you saw, I've not really been. Well, no, I've only been to London, but it's been the airport. That's it's technically not London if you go in the airport. But as Never Walk Alone said there, Kev.
Exactly, yeah.
Winners want to compete at the highest level as well.
He knows when he gets to Ronaldo's age or Messi's age, he can still go to Saudi Arabia and play at the top of his game compared to them over there. Come on.
And the final one chat, and then we'll recap on the main story, and then we'll shoot off this evening. But if you've got a new round here, chat, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Me and Kev are live most nights as well. Put your notification bell so you always do get notified as well, Reds. And it's an exciting next couple of days. And I know what I said in my description. There will be more signs coming in. I'm pretty sure of that. But we had this coming out yesterday. Whether you want to believe it or whether it's a load of nonsense, it probably is the latter, really. But from Gefferon Football spoke about yesterday after talks on between Liverpool and Crystal Palace midfielder Chick Decore over finding a proposed contract agreement. More to follow. That is coming from SZ Sport as well. And we've had today a lot of reports coming out today that very much distancing themselves from the story as well. So, but Liverpool, as we spoke about in terms of the Ryan Gravenberch deal, Kev, it's looking like increasingly likely Liverpool are not just exploring one option, they're exploring other defensive, central defensive and centre positions as well.
Or they're doing the whole thing with Gravenberch so that Crystal Palace come back and say, all right, you can have him for this price. And then Liverpool might still take on Gravenberch, but tell him he's going to be like playing as that understudy to, it'll still be 35 million. But they'll assume that we're not going to come back in for him for any value. If they're putting him up around 70 million or something like that, they'll say, all right, so we'll take 48, 49 from him. So loads of different ways around it, but that's what that would be my thinking in it anyway,
Yeah, Phillips on loan to shout at what the F boys. Let's just let the lad go. Take 3 million for him. Don't know what with our club at the minute as well. Yeah, Charlie, it's a bit mad, mate. In all honesty, I don't know if you watched mine Kev's video. Was it 2 nights ago where we spoke and we joked about our mate Ballon d'Or winner Nat Phillips.
Yeah,
Nat Maldini. Yeah, it's.
Have you got that picture there? Is it still there? No,
no, I haven't got it anymore. But what a saving to Liverpool. The one thing that we all love about Nat as well, Chas. Yes, we know he lacks in certain areas as a centre half, but he's not once whinged to the press. We've had numerous players at Liverpool Football Club that have very quickly gone to the press and went, "Oh, I want out," and then Raheem Sterling went on bloody national news and done a bloody interview for BBC Northwest Tonight. That was ridiculous in itself. But what Nat Phillips has done, he's cracked on. Him and Reece Williams helped us a couple of years ago when we needed him the most. But all the best to Nat. And as we spoke about at the top of the show before, Nat more or less looking like he's going to Celtic, as Chato alluded to there. But quickly to conclude, anyone that's just tuning in, Kev, you want to read that one out? Just a recap for everyone just tuning in.
The Arnie one, David Ornstein, exclusive news that Liverpool in negotiations with Bayern Munich for permanent signing of Ryan Gravenberch. Not guaranteed to happen, but clubs discussing price. Plus, if finance is right, formal offer to follow. 21-year-old wants Liverpool. Bayern would need to replace him, which is why they're going in for Paulinho right now. So, look, I think Brian. Hi, Brian. I think Bayern want the finished, ready-made, all-together article, which is why they buy experienced CDMs. They had Jabi Alonso come in there. They have Paulinho now coming in there. You know, that's what they kind of want. They don't want to develop players into that role. Whereas Klopp is a man that will 100% give a fella a chance and develop it into that. So I think that's why Klopp is interested in Gravenberch. I think he believes that he could be that low-lying, centre midfielder. Where he's not going to be an out-and-out CDM, he will do enough of a job in there to be one. All encompassing, yeah, and box to box everything and run with the ball as well. And Klopp could look to kind of do that this season, And if he needs cover, it's an easy take. You could probably bring off McAllister, bring on Endo alongside him, free up Gravenberch a bit further to go forward. If he needs more of a physical presence, if he needs more of a flair and more sensitive touch on the ball, where he can glide it left and right, then he would take Gravenberch off, bring on Endo, and keep McAllister there. So there's virtually, literally different ways that you could possibly play with a Gravenberch on your side in that deep role. If he's bringing him in to compete with Szoboszlai, I don't see him getting that much game time, to be honest with you. Unless Salah were to go, Szoboszlai moves up to the right-hand side, and Gravenberch moves into where Szoboszlai is right now.
Yeah, 100%.
And then you're missing that speed up front on that right.
100% there, Kev. As more or less what Kev did allude to before at the top of the show, chat. Big up there, Andrew. Massive thank you to chat as well, keeping us all up to date this evening.
Hey, completely right on that.
Andrew saying, Bascom just tweeted, LFC approach buying fee is 35 million being discussed. So yeah, Kev was spot on there, as always. But yeah, it's similar. That's a bargain basement price, really.
I get my quatlets.
Yeah, there you go. We know Kev's Gravenberch's agent as well. Buying of bare midfielders as well, turn him into the junior type player. Yeah, Charlie, I don't know if you've seen a lot of him, mate, or anyone that's not seen a lot of him. He's got everything. He's got height, he's got distance, he can carry the ball, he can put his foot in as well in terms of recovering the ball. So as long as we can keep him fit and get him back up to the form that he showcased at Ajax, he can certainly...
Remember, Fabinho was a right back. We made him a CDM. He barely played a handful of games on a CDM. Klopp saw something that he liked in him playing in Monaco in a CDM role, but he wasn't there out CDM. He was a right back. He was a right back at Real Madrid. So Klopp brought him in there as a CDM. And, lads, if you haven't joined us, Jack got a toot pull today.
Commitment to the show, chat. I'm not missing it. So...
he was trying to chat this one up over in Greece, give her an old tap on the bum, and she hit him across the jaw. I know he's got no tooth. So fake news.
That did not happen. Mate Tom, that's who it.
That money was just resting in my account.
Oh yes. But yeah, chat. Buying looking for a replacement before. Yeah, definitely would. We will be shy. But Kev.
Yeah.
Chat, there's still 92 people obvious in here, chat. If you 94. Are new and you've just discovered the channel, hit that subscribe button down below. Takes 2 seconds. Drop a like on the video.
Yes.
As again, takes 2 seconds. If you haven't already done so, massively helps out the algorithm, gets the video out there for more people that haven't seen it. But Kev, massive thank you, mate, for being the main host this evening. Because
was I?
Yeah. You spoke more than me.
Yeah. Is that okay? Is that a new thing? No. Yes, I don't shut up anymore.
Yeah, we'll put you on mute. Yeah, there you go.
I know. See you later, buddy.
There we go. He's on mute. But chat, have a lovely rest of your night. As we anticipate, this deal will very much get concluded probably in the next 24 hours. As Chris Bascom just tweeted there, chat, a deal has been agreed. But shout out to David Ornstein. If you don't follow him on socials, the best journalist in the business at this moment in time, especially when it comes to Liverpool news. Drop him a follow. All right, Kev, chat.
Yeah.
Have a lovely rest of your night.
Yes.
I'm definitely not going to be putting my tooth under the pillow for the tooth fairy because it went straight in the bed. But chat, hopefully, if we did get some dough, I'd put it towards another centre half or midfielder for Liverpool. But Gravenberch funds. But chat, see you later.
We only need another 69,999,000. And 95.
Yeah.
Because the other £5 would be your money.
Bye, chat.
Good luck.